again. This one came about because of my podcast currently is a 1-year celebration a few weeks ago, and so I'm doing a vegan tres leches. I have coconut milk, which there will be a lot in this. Then you're gonna want to, you could use hemp, oat, flax, pretty much any of the seed or grain milks. Rice will also work. This is Mixquick. It is a medical food. It is the medical version of Bisquick. If you do use Bisquick, in order to make it vegan, you can use applesauce or a myriad of other things. So I am starting off with, this is 2 cups of Mixquick, and I'm just going to pour this in the pan. Your dish that you are, your casserole dish that you're using, because this is a cake, you're going to want to grease, because if you don't, it's going to come out in chunks. It's going to be really hard to get out. Okay, so, and I forgot about this part, which we're going to want to start right away. That's the oil. Okay, so this is the vinegar. So I'm going to make a buttermilk out of this, as this hemp milk. Soy is a little high in protein for me. I am on a low protein diet, as are many others. And so I'm adding in some apple cider vinegar to the hemp milk, and mix that around. And we're gonna let that, we're gonna set that aside for a while. In fact, this is 1.5 cups of the hemp milk. Buttermilk is not meant to be sweet, even though this is a fairly sweet cake. And you can use all kinds of sweeteners besides sugar. I'm using monk fruit. Ideally, you want white sugar. I have the brown sugar monk fruit. And they do come in all kinds, all different types. So I had the confectioner sugar, the stevia, so that won't work. I'm gonna set this aside. And now, grabbed all our dry ingredients. We got the Mixquick in there, and Mixquick is, the beneficial part of Mixquick is that it has the baking soda and baking powder already in it, which are leavening agents, which will help with rising. And since it has wheat starch in it, I'm not using cornstarch either. To that, grab all my dry ingredients here. Okay, so vanilla would not normally be a dry ingredient, because it's, if you're using vanilla extract, you're going to want to mix this in later. However, with this, it will be, this is a dry vanilla, so this is the one actually from the vanilla bean. This one comes in a powder if you want to get it already scraped out, which it can be. A, it's expensive. B, it's really hard to get out of the bean. So mixing in the vanilla. It's a teaspoon of vanilla. This is 1/2 cup of the sugar, and that's monk fruit. So it is a sugar alternative made with erythritol. And this is salt. So it's a half a teaspoon of salt. So that's all my dry ingredients. So now I'm gonna mix this around. It's gonna get a little noisy, so it's gonna be hard to talk. And while I'm at it, I'm gonna grab all the wet ingredients. We're gonna mix in our hemp milk mixture and the oil. And I'm gonna do this a little bit at a time. And again, it's gonna get pretty noisy again because I'm gonna turn this back on. The thing about the monk fruit and it being the brown sugar monk fruit, you actually want this. This is the golden. So you don't really want the golden. You can use parchment paper. This will flour it if you're trying to avoid the stickiness. Now the oven, the cake still has another 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm gonna start off with this part for a milk mixture. So in this one, we're adding in 1 can of coconut milk. This is a canned coconut milk, a full fat coconut milk. And despite my best efforts on this one, unfortunately the condensed milk, which is a condensed coconut milk, is really high in sugar. So, FYI on that one. This is 11.25 ounces of condensed coconut milk. If you can't find this, you don't want to make it. There are recipes for this, but didn't feel like making it. Then you can use, this stuff comes on Amazon. And I will link the, I will have the link in the description. Need all of this. This does come in 2 or 6 packs. You only need 1. We're using a half a cup of the hemp milk. There's it. Okay. Now we had to mix this up. And don't worry if this is liquidy. You will be waiting until we're gonna refrigerate it for an hour until this is soaked up, at least. It may be better to refrigerate it overnight, but the longer you let it refrigerate, the better. The next part of this was pretty self-explanatory, so I just did it off camera, but it just poke holes in the cake. This is the milk mixture, and next part is we're just pouring this over the top. I want to get this all over. And with the holes, you want to make sure they're poked all the way down. With the cake, I wouldn't let it go more than 20 minutes. Enough of a space in your fridge. And if not, we're gonna have to clear out some. So my fridge, the bottom shelf is best. Okay, so I want to show you something. You want green food coloring, here you go. This is the green water from the cabbage baking soda mixture. You want blue? That is cabbage only. And I don't need a whole lot, so I'm not going to make any more. This is CocoWhip. Ideally, you want a little bit softened if it's gotten as hard as this is. But since I'm... Oh, and the bowl on the scale, the scale has been zeroed out because I am using... I am weighing a different thing now. So, and we did 1 ounces. But if you want to do your own whipped cream, there is a video that I can post on, that I can attach to this or add it to my home screen on YouTube. And channel is Rare Chef. If you let it cool down first before you dye it. So this is the tres leches that I made, and now we're going to go about frosting it. But I have this little piece here to keep the because I'm going to turn this part of the cake blue, and this is meant to be kind of like a flag. But if you remember, the cabbage that we did yesterday didn't exactly get really blue, but it got a little. So I'm going to show this to the camera here. And there is, I added some thickener to this too. I added a couple teaspoons of agar-agar to it. This is way more frosting than I'm gonna need. Because I also added some coconut milk, some of the full fat canned coconut milk to it. I have some candy stars over here in my cup that I'm gonna be adding to the blue part. And so that it looks a little more like a flag. If you do decide to make your own whipped cream, it will probably work better if you're using your own made whipped cream, the homemade whipped cream. So I do have that, on my YouTube channel, on the one for those who are not subscribed, so anybody could see it. So now we got that part done. I'm gonna take that out. And we'll add the stars in. And I just dropped a star. Since this is practically white and these stars are white, it's not really showing up all that great. The food coloring gets a little darker than natural. A lot of sugar in this. I kept it as low as I could, but by no means is this low in sugar or diabetic friendly. This cake won't last long in the refrigerator either. Luckily, dairy-free milks are nothing but flavored water, because the nuts, seeds, or whatever you're using is drained out. I will frost the rest of the cake. I'm now up to 330 subscribers, and hopefully we'll get more soon. Because I would like to get the YouTube channel monetized. I don't think the knife is working for this. So if you have a spoon or even a spatula, it'll work better.